Welcome to your midweek video content stuff. I'm in chapter 15, page 240. This is a self-test, and I want to go over exercises that you're going to do now, check in with on Friday, and then do on Monday, okay? Because it's more work than is right, actually not Monday, I guess the day after Memorial Day, but through the weekend. You'll basically get through the weekend to complete all these things. And we'll check in on Friday to see if you have any questions, and also to remind you that there's a lot of work, so you shouldn't just procrastinate until like Sunday night kind of thing. So I'm going to go through a couple examples from each one of these problems and then let you do a certain number of them for homework afterwards. First one is simply just notate the following chords using accidentals and not key signatures. And you're going to end up doing basically the even numbers. Okay, I'm going to work on the odd ones for you. So the first one here says C, and I'd do these with me rather than just watch passively. See if you can keep up, see if it makes sense, or see if you can stay slightly ahead. So if I'm in the key of C major and I'm on a 6-4-3, that means that I need to know that this is an A chord, it's minor 7, right? And that 4-3 means the fifth is in the bass. So it's scales, chords, and figured bass review, which is good. And then we just write this. And since it's in treble clef, I just picked the normal place. This is going to be an A, C, E, G, and the E is the lowest note. So I'll just go right there, E, G, and then A and C. And that's my C and that right there. I'll do number 3. That was number 1. Number 3, again, it's treble clef. Remember, this is not to use key signatures, just use accidentals. Okay, so I'm in the key of B flat, and I need a 4 chord, and it's a major chord, and it's 6-5. So B flat, 4 major 6-5. You need to know that the 4th scale degree is E flat. You need to know how to build an E flat major 7 chord, because that's what the 4 is. Right, there's a D, sorry. And then you need to know that 6-5 is that note right there. And then you should be able to spell on the given clef that they're asking you to do that. So I'll just pick the easiest one, G right there. That's the lowest note for 6-5. And then B flat, D, and then E flat. Don't forget you have to put in the flats and make sure they're on the line, because otherwise it will get confusing which note they're on. So line or space that they're on, like that. So all of these are there. Now, the happy secret is that at the end of the book, there is an appendix which has all the answers. So you shouldn't say, oh, I didn't do it because I got stuck, right? You should be able to say, I did it. So all the even number ones, chapter 18, 17, 16, here we are right here, and 16 continued. So we're 14, right in the middle. Okay. So page looks like 596. They have all the answers there. If you find that one aspect of this is causing you problems, like you can't remember scale degrees of a certain key, or you can't remember how to spell a certain kind of chord, or you can't remember your figured bass, please take a moment outside of this and go review that. If you're always just stuck and then checking for answers to see if you got it right, because one of those things isn't working for you, then you'll never get better at that. It won't improve. You have to deconstruct that and say, I'm no good at figure bass, and take 15, 20 minutes and review that and practice and practice and practice. Okay. Go back to the chapter there, go back to your notes, go online. There's lots and lots of, heck, call me up and I'll Zoom with you and we can do that. So even numbers. Okay. Then it says, analyze the following chords. Be sure to use symbols that indicate chord quality and inversion. It's the opposite of that. Again, you're going to do the even ones of this. Okay. Let me show you this one. I think I can just pop in here like this, like that. Okay. So I'm in the key of E minor, right? And this is, you have to figure it out. B, G, D, F sharp. So it looks like it's going to be a G, B, D, F sharp, right? and that's a major 7 chord, GBD, and an F sharp. And in the key of E minor, that would be a 3 chord, and that's nice because E minor, well, 3 chords are major 7s. So this is a 3, right? Put a major for major, so we don't think of it as dominant. And then since the B is in the lowest note right there, that's a 6/5. Okay, so that's the kind of work you're going to do there. Analyze the chords, non-chord tones from the excerpt, comment on the voice leading. Now remember, before you go like, it's so much work. Well, you know, it's how we get better. And we haven't done enough analysis recently, so this is good for you. But you're going to go through here and analyze each one of these chords for figured bass, chord number, quality, and the non-chord tones. Good review for the final coming up. It says analyze 2 chords on beat 3 of the first measure, right? So right here, I guess they want this to be a chord, and then they want this to be a chord right there. Again, answers are in the back. I will find audio for you to listen to, but you can plug this out on the piano as well. So check back and you'll hear audio for that as well. Okay, let's go to the next page over here. It says, and now we get into camera issues. The book's too wide, but I'll kind of bring this up here, I guess. It says a blank progression occupies most of this excerpt. It's a sequence, circle of fifths sequence. The 7 chords and 3-part texture lack each lack something. Okay, so you're gonna have to go through and it says if you were to add a 4th voice beginning on F4, how would you proceed? What does that even mean? If you were to add a 4th voice. I guess they're not asking you to analyze, well, it's, you know, this. It says still analyze, but it says if we were going to add a line right here, right? A note right there to make this 4-part harmony, right? What would it do? Right? So I think I'm going to spell this one out for you so you can see what that means. Okay, so if we look at this and we look at the first 2, I'm just going to simplify this for you so you can see. I'm in F minor right here. I'm going to put all of my flats in, get this set up. Okay, and the first note is this and this and then this. Now I am simplifying this rhythmically. There's my C, there's my A, and there's my F right there. And it's saying, what if we did this right there? An F4 means the F above middle C. Okay. And then the next chord here is that, and this A flat is holding over, and then this is a B flat right there. And let's just take a look at, you know, what these are. So this is an F chord, F minor, right there. That's my 1 chord. And this here looks like a B flat 7 chord, B flat, D. There's no F, but there's my A flat right there, yeah? So this would be a 5/7 or 4/7, sorry, 4 minor 7, right? F minor. So it says, what would we do with this extra note right here? It says if we added that. Well, I think, look, root to root, 7th or 3rd holds over and becomes 7th, right? Okay, the 5th, it's stepped up. What do we do with the double root? It's the uncle, it's the one holding over. So we're going to do that right there. So that works, it's just going to hold over. And then, you know, what do we do on our next thing here? Well, this is going to be a E flat, and there's a G, and this note here has stuff going on until it gets to there. I don't know, let's check it out. There's a D right there. So we have our E flat, and we have our G, and we have our D, right? Okay, and this is this note, that note, and that note. All right, well, let's take a look at this right here. This is my root to root. Here's my 3rd of the chord. It holds over. Remember, 3rd becomes, no, it's really fuzzy, sorry. Becomes the 7th right there. And then this is the seventh of the chord and it resolves down and becomes the third. This is that pattern we talked about in class, talks about in your book. This is my queen or fifth, and it's going to step down and become the root, right? So this is the root, and it holds over and becomes the fifth because uncle does nothing. Then it's the queen, and it steps down and becomes the root, and then it's going to hold over and become the fifth again. So each of these has a different role. In other words, as we start into this sequence of circle of fifths, root to root to root to root all the time, the root not in the bass will hold over and become the queen, step down, become the root, hold over, become the queen, right? The third, or so the seventh of the chord will step down and become the third, and then hold over and become the seventh, step down and become the third here, holds over, becomes the seventh, which will step down. It's a formula that you'll see embedded in here. And I wanted to explain that a little closer because otherwise you might look at that and go, huh? Right? So carry that through, okay? Analyze this one, see non-chord tones, good. All right, skip number 4. We'll talk about that live on Friday if we're going to do that one at all, okay? But then we come over here and this is where we're going to end your work through. So don't worry about E at the end, right? But this last writing thing right here, okay? So far we've done, hold on, you had to do A evens, B evens, do the analysis of C's, right? All the analysis of C, okay? And then skip over and do D. Okay, now D is more part writing, but it's introduction and resolution of the chord. Okay, and it's a little trickier. And I'll show you how I would approach this. So we'll set this up. And it says, I'm in the key of A flat. It says, introduce, notate, introduce, and resolve each chord with approach 7 as a suspension, neighbor, passing tone indicator. I'll show you what that means. Use key signatures, lead symbols with the / symbols and Roman numerals. That basically means we have to write everything up from scratch. Let's show you how that works. This says here, I'm in the key of A flat, right? So you're going to do the odd or evens on these ones. So I'll write my key signature for A flat right there. And I know you're going to get so long, but if you're good at these, it doesn't take that long. And if you're not good at them, you need to practice. Okay. And it says we're going to approach the 7th of this chord as though it's a suspension. I'll show you what that means in a minute. Let's set ourselves up in the middle, a 4-chord major with the 7th in the bass. So in the key of A flat major, the 4 chord is D flat, right? F, A flat, and C. And the C is going to be in the bass right there like that. And now I can arrange the rest of the notes. And you can choose whatever spacing you want, so long as the ranges are good. You could even just kind of flip to the back and check. I'm going to try and be a little bigger at the bottom, a little closer at the top. So I'm going to stick my C. I don't think the F, I think I'm going to go to the A flat right there. I don't need to put the flat in because it's in the key signature. Okay. And then above that, I think the next note up would be a D flat and then the F like that. Okay. So what does it mean to introduce the 7th of this chord as a suspension? It means that to get into here, you're going to hold the same note over and down. Remember, this is a 4 major 4-2, which means that's the 7th right there. Approach the 7th and resolve it as a suspension. That's what the S is for. So that means that the note right here is going to be that, and the note right there is going to be that. Okay. Now we have to figure out a chord that's allowed to go to 4, that has a C in it, right? And is in the key of A flat. And then when this 7th resolves down, because it's like a suspension, we have to figure a chord that the 4 chord can go to where it also has a B flat in it. All right. So let's think about this. Remember the formula where 3rd holds over, becomes 7th, and then 7th goes down and becomes 3rd. That's circle of fifths, and that's probably the easiest way to imagine this. Okay, so in other words, let's do a circle of fifth. So I guess the question is, what's this the third of? And the answer is it's third of an A flat chord, A flat major 7. Okay, and that's what we want to do here. So that means let's build this backwards. Remember that the third will hold over and become 7th because this is A flat, C, E flat, and G, right? Okay, and that's there. Now let's build backwards. The A flat is the root, not in the bass. It would hold over, right? Just like that, okay? And the root becomes the 5th, okay? And then here's my root, right? And it would be the queen that steps down, the 5th steps down into the root. So that's going to be my E flat, which is my 5th of this chord. And then here is the 3rd of this chord, D, F, A. And remember, 7th steps down. So that'll be my G right there, like that. Now, when I resolve this out, I think, well, what's the chord of 5th below? So this is going to be a 1 major 6, 5, because there's my 3rd holding over becoming the 7th, and they want lead sheets above, so you'll go A flat major 7 to D flat major 7. Now think about what's a 5th below this, and it's going to be 7, isn't it? Right? 7 half diminished 7, although the inversion is going to be different because the 3rd's in the bass. It's going to be a 6, 5 probably, like that. That's going to be a G chord, G, B, D, F, and it's going to be B flat and D flat because of the key signature. Now let's think about this. 7th of my chord resolves down and becomes the 3rd. The 5th of my chord, the queen, steps down and becomes the root, right? And the root of my chord, the drunkle, holds over, does nothing, and becomes the new queen, 5th. And then the 7th, right, holds over. Wait, I did this wrong. That's the 7th, becoming the 3rd. The 3rd of the chord holds over and becomes the new 7th, right? So I'm using my technology. All right, this video has gone long enough. What I'm going to propose is that you start working on these other parts of the thing, and then on Friday we'll go over a couple of these more live. But if you want to do some of this on your own and see how that goes, and check the answers in the back. But we'll get to this on Friday live as well. All right, have fun with that. Try at least to get to here by Friday, or try and do a little bit of each one of them and see how you do. Come with questions. If you don't have questions on Friday about these, I'm going to presume that you either A, did not do it, or B, you had a perfect. What you should have is I attempted all of these things and I have an actual thing where I couldn't figure out a spot or help me with it. There's this or that. Okay. I'm going to try and track down audio for these guys right here. And hopefully that will work out well for you. So in summary, one more time, self-test 15A, 240. You're going to do A, the evens, B, the evens, all of C, right? And that includes kind of this funny one here where you're going to try and put a line in here. Do your best and then take a look at the answers and then come with questions if you're not sure why that is. There. Skip number 4, right? Here, because that's different writing. We're going to talk about that if we do that at all. But you will do number or letter D, these ones right here, the evens, okay? And we'll specifically target this and do some more of this. The goal is to get it all done by the end of the weekend, okay? But you should start working on it now, and we'll talk about some of this on Friday. On Friday, though, we will spend time now. You have done, you have written lyrics, okay? And you have written chord phrases, right? And you have taken lyrics that were pre-made and like pre-made, right? And you have made phrases and then set lyrics, right? Okay. So on Friday, we're going to talk more about making phrases. And then on the weekend, you're going to get pre-made phrases. Okay. And you make up lyrics and add, sorry, set or add them as a melody. Okay, and I'll show you examples of all of those, and then you'll come away with this with some pre-made phrases as well that you work on. We're getting you to take stabs at all the parts of like, how do I approach, start making these songs. Once you feel comfortable doing not all these things individually, but starting to put them together, and you have a sort of work flow for that, a way of operating to do that, then you can start to confidently make songs of your own, and know that you're using best practices for yourself that will yield you both flexibility and creativity, but sort of like the, it's not going to be a guess, it's going to work kind of a surety as well. All right. Talk to you guys on Friday.